Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Mania 7 Key World Cup 2025. We are finishing up this round of 16 weekend with the final match of the weekend, and oh boy, a very close seeded matchup in the losers bracket. It's going to be Norway taking on Canada. Both teams fighting for their tournament lives, seeing if they can make it to that losers quarterfinals. As always, my name is Sparky, and I'm joined in the commentary booth this time around by none other than Mint. Mint, how's it going?
Hello. Feeling as good as ever. And we're finishing off this weekend with a pretty interesting match. Norway versus Canada, C28, C21. We saw Canada perform fairly well, I want to say, last week. So this is the honestly, I'm really excited to see what they're gonna show out here.
Yeah, for sure. And on the other side with Norway, some heavy hitters of their own right. Just an unfortunate first round matchup finding them here, but hopefully trying to pull it together against Canada, maybe pull off the upset here as we dive on into it. Looks like Canada rolling the 19, Norway with the 83, gonna win that roll pretty decisively as we wait to see what their protect is going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a bit of what we usually see in matchups like this, where we have this like Rice versus LN type of matchup, but no, Norway actually going to protect hybrid 1 of all maps. Not a very popular choice for protect, but a very valid protect nonetheless, as Canada instantly responds with their protects and bans. LN1 going to be protected, unsurprising. Canada a very strong LN roster, and banning out Rice 1, so getting rid of the single note stream pick on that Rice pool as we wait for Norway to respond now.
Yeah, LN1 protect, Rice 1 ban is completely fair from Canada. I think that's pretty much the best strategy that they could go with right now, at least given what we know about the team. And Norway's ban, I would suspect LN3, yeah, and there it goes. LN3 is pretty much the next best thing to ban after LN1, which is protected by Canada. So that everything makes a lot of sense so far. Aside from hybrid 1, I'm excited to see what they if they're like very confident on that pick, or if that's just like something they think they can outperform Canada on, perhaps. That will be very interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I think for Norway, they probably would have gotten rid of whatever Canada didn't protect on that LN pool. If like LN3 had been protected, LN1 would have been gone. But despite Norway protecting hybrid 1, they're going to opt to go for hybrid 2 in this instance. A pretty rare appearance from this map in general has been generally avoided. Hybrid 1 and hybrid 3 being the ones catching more of the attention has been played, I'd like to imagine, so already this weekend, but in maybe matches that we weren't around to watch. So right now we're just waiting for the rosters to get settled in here. Both teams having the full complement of 4 players to choose from. Would imagine both of them would probably be relying on maybe an anchor type player, on Mr. Moo being like that stalwart top of the pecking order for Canada, and Norway probably has a bit more flexibility in terms of who they want to go into, some specialists on either side of the skill set. But on the hybrid, it really just comes down to who's most comfortable as we wait for the second Canadian player to come in, Androma and Messiah for Norway at the moment, Mr. Moo for Canada.
Yeah, and something interesting I want to point out. It does seem like Norway is leaning on the hybrid side here, so it does look like both teams are going to want to avoid the Rice pick. So after a certain point, I think it will come down to either one of the teams having to pick Rice. And I think it does seem like that they kind of want to avoid that. Norway picking hybrid 2, Les Cadence Magiques, going into just basically like the hybrid portion of the map pool, like having that hybrid 1 protect and picking hybrid 2 off the gate. And I think that's kind of an interesting strategy to see where they go from there. What I'm interested in is what they're going to pick after they've exhausted Hybrid 1, Hybrid 2, because Hybrid 3 is somewhat like more of a physicality and technicality challenge than the other two. So I do want to see if they opt for going for hybrids, sticking with the hybrids, or moving on to Rice after like midway through the match. I would say.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how that develops as this match progresses. But for right now, it's going to be Lelpop checking in for Canada, rounding out that roster. We were waiting on Canada to solidify who that second player was going to be. And we are now officially underway with the first pick in this match. Best of 9. First team to 5 points. We'll move on to that loser's quarterfinals. And loser will be eliminated from the tournament as Androma picks up the first slider break in this map. Both players for Norway struggling just a little bit through the opening couple of notes here. Number 200 from Messiah and the draw from Androma getting to Canada a bit of a cushion to work with right out of the gate here as they begin to establish a bit of a foothold in this map. Already 10,000 points to the good, and we're not even done with the first quarter of this chart.
Yeah, and as we get into this like little like second quarter section, we're seeing some drops from Norway continuing, while both players on Canada's side seem to be holding fairly steady combos with pretty decent Lelpop being just shy of 99%, while Mr. Moo is getting that 99.3 range, which is pretty solid, I would say. And then Norway, while they are missing quite a bit, they are maintaining that 98, so they're really just like trying to hold on to that accuracy where they can.
Yeah, for sure, but not having the combo to sustain it, going to give Canada a massive load of points going into the back half here. 50,000 points to the good already because of the fact that they've got Lelpop and Mr. Moo with the full combos here at the moment. A third of the map still left to go. No real signs of stopping as Lelpop makes that recovery run up into that 99% range to try and lend some more support to Mr. Moo, has been the standout performer, but finding a slider break in the transition, the end of that break before diving into these impact staggered releases and starts. Messiah trading that miss back, however, doesn't really do much to impact the overall score lead that Canada has built up. And as we continue on into the last quarter of the chart, the lead has only grown for the Canadians as they are looking very well poised to pick up this first break point in this match and maybe throw a bit of a spanner in the works to the overall pick strategy for Norway, opting to go into the hybrid, protected one of the hybrids. But if they aren't able to perform on this side of the map pool, it could really throw things into disarray going further into this map. That being said, I mean, with these hybrids, you eliminate them early, you can kind of pivot into those rice picks later on. So it'd be interesting to see how they decide to work that out as Canada closes it out. Lelpop with the only FC in the lobby. Mr. Moo finding another slider break very late on there, and a very convincing team score overall as Canada makes it 0-1.
Yeah, very impressive opening breakpoint from Canada here. Very interesting to see what they'll be picking next. Probably go straight into their protect to keep that momentum going, or maybe just another LN map, maybe LN2. But I think they would go LN1 first, actually. Yeah, so it's be interesting to see where Norway's going to go from here. Norway and Canada, these seems to be very strong teams. Like Norway still maintaining that 98% for both players. So still within that striking range. It's just they need to, I guess, the combo. It is mostly the combo.
Yeah, just got to clean up the performance a little bit there. But Canada, as you mentioned, we're probably going to go for this protect. It is such a polarizing pick. And with the struggles that Norway had on that hybrid pick with the couple of LN elements that were found throughout it, why not just crank that up to 11? Let's just go nearly full inverse. The walls of pain on LN1. Probably going to see Mr. Moo and Lelpop contest this. Mr. Moo, a very, very strong LN player. Gonna put Androma and Messiah probably through their paces here. That being said, I mean, Norway could sneak it out of the bag. Maybe they know something that we don't, and they could maybe sneak something out. But I imagine with this being Canada's protect, they are intimately comfortable with this style of chart.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I mean, if their qualifier performance and their last week's match performance is anything to go off of, Canada is absolutely extremely strong on this type of pick, especially Mr. Moo, who, in both 4K and 7K is pretty much I wouldn't say a specialist, but they're definitely known for their accuracy in these sorts of picks and their proficiency overall.
For sure. So no substitutions for either of the teams. It's going to be these four riding this out. Gonna see if Norway can respond or if Canada can double up to start things off here. This is definitely a bit of a 180 in terms of feeling musically, but it doesn't mean that it's anything less than a pure test of focus for these two teams as we see Messiah picking up the first couple of slider breaks to open things off. But outside of that, pretty strong starts overall across the lobby in and around that like high 98, mid 99 range that players really tend to strive for on picks like this. It's going to be just minimizing the amount of little finger flubs here and there. Is actually on Mr. Moo going to find a slider break for the Canadians, traded back out by Messiah with a couple extra to boot here. But that being said, Mr. Moo still holding on to the highest accuracy in this lobby, and the fact that they have Lowpop in support, basically in lockstep with them, holding on to the full combo, gonna help stretch this advantage for the Canadians to the tune of about 20,000 points with 3/4 of the map left to go here.
Yeah, and I mean, like, they're all holding pretty strong. Again, Norway keeping those 98%, but finding those misses. Unfortunately, it does look like they no longer have a full combo on the board. So, looks like Lowpop maintaining that really high combo, which is interesting because definitely would have expected Mr. Moo to be also holding a full combo, but I guess you win some, you lose some. And Lowpop finding that combo break. And yeah, it does look like just Canada's just overall generally more proficient at this type of patterning. Unfortunately, it is very tricky, like you do have to hold down basically every finger and like lift at a very particular time, so very natural for this sort of thing to not feel the most ergonomic or comfortable with like some layouts. It's just like it is like a very unique skill, and Norway is still able to hold on pretty decently, I would say. 98 is nothing to scoff at for this type of map, but yeah, it just unfortunately doesn't look like it is enough to beat out Canada's scores here, with Canada both players holding 99.
Yeah, just basically just levels to the quality of performance from the players in the lobby as we see a full combo reset on the side of Canada. But because of the fact that they've put in the work through that first half, able to mitigate it when the mistakes do eventually come through, as you mentioned, it is so uncomfortable being able to hold on to all 7 columns at the same time, trying to ensure that you're not letting go at the wrong times. It is a very particular skill set, and Canada showing it off. Norway doing their best, but unable to really put a dent in that score lead at the end of the day. 900k scores across the board, but Lowpop MVPing the lobby at the end of the day, and Canada successfully double up off that breakpoint to make it 0-2 to start this match off.
Yeah, I just want to point out, like, that 200 to miss count for Lowpop, like having more misses than 200s, pretty much what, like, that looks like a that looks like a core jack like score, honestly.
Honestly, the best way to put it. It's such a black and white skill set. Either you have a very clean run with a couple extra 200s, or you have that where it's like you just have more misses than 200s, and you just have those little rough sections here and there where you can keep it clean, you're able to recover, but they just start adding up after a while. But nevertheless, doing more than enough to secure that point on their end as we wait to see what Norway's gonna do next. They have Hybrid 1 as their protect, but with the way these more LN oriented style picks have gone, maybe not feeling the most confident to go into it right at this moment. Could potentially pivot into the Rice picks. You do have something standard like Rice 3. maybe want to avoid it now that I say it, because Canada is very good at core jack historically. Could go for something harder like Rice 4, Rice 5, and it looks like it is going to be Rice 5. So Curiosity
Yeah,
going
there
to
you
be
go,
the
right
pick
there.
here.
Yeah, Curiosity is a very interesting one. It's like a very slow core stream base with like a lot of other stuff sprinkled into it. I think this is a pretty safe bet for Norway, though I think, as in like probably their best pick among the Rice picks. Though I think Canada um, will also do pretty well on it. So, it is ultimately, I think it will come down to just who is more proficient at this type of patterning, and I think that again it is one of the safer picks among the Rice, though it is still a Rice pick nonetheless. So I we'll just have to wait and see, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely one that you'd want to go into if you want to maybe throw in some extra variables. You don't want to play it super safe like Rice 2 or Rice 3, where it's like, okay, if we can play it, they can play it. This is definitely a test of proficiency and that composure element, because really, Norway has been in and around in terms of the accuracy on the lower half of the map pool. If they can just keep a clean run together, if one of them can hold on to an FC and have that supporting score as well. We have seen some drops from the Canadians that Norway could potentially angle to try and take advantage of, but they need to put themselves in that position to start things off. So if they can get the hot start and just maintain maybe like 3/4 of the way through the chart with something going here, they have a really good chance of securing a point on the board here to ensure that Canada doesn't really start building up a full head of steam to try and continue this match to a potential match point situation. So as it stands, still no substitutions, just keeping these 4 players on the board here, in it for the long haul as it stands. As we move on into our first Rice pick of the pool, it is going to be Curiosity. Let's see how Norway does. Let's see if Canada can maintain the level of performance, or if Norway has an answer. Finally, 3 picks into this match.
Absolutely, as we're just getting started, we're gonna want to see like both these teams. They're gonna want to reach that combo cap, and it looks like Norway finding their first miss, unfortunately very early, and does look like they come up with another miss here, and another. Okay, I'm not gonna keep announcing these. It is unfortunate, but these patterns are relatively they're pretty tricky, and it does look like Canada is maintaining those 99s very solidly. 99 full combo. Honestly, it's very impressive. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And as we continue on into the second third of the chart, Androma riding the struggle bus just a little bit here. Messiah doing everything in their power to try and keep this lead in check, but because of the fact that their teammate is languishing so far behind the pace in comparison to the likes of Lopop and Mr. Moo, it is just bleeding several thousand points over. And through the opening exchange through the first half of the chart, already Canada establishing a 60,000 point lead as Messiah and Androma drop traded this time around by Lopop, and
no more full combos on the board.
A full lobby wipe here as Amistroo finds a couple extra misses, but because of that early going, the fact that the shoes on the earth with Canada holding on very strongly through the first half, now starting to find the drops here that are starting to chip away at this lead that they have built up. But because of the fact that they were able to hold on to the full combo, not trading any of those misses early on, they have the luxury of being able to find these drops here and there, as Androma is the next one to fall. Going into the last 8th of the chart, 63,000 points for the Canadians as it stands, looking very poised to take this second breakpoint on Norway's second pick in this match. And I mean, with some of these LN picks still left, with some of the hybrids still left as well, there are plenty of avenues for the Canadians to potentially make this a match point situation as they make it 3-0. Very strong team performance overall from them. Mr. Moo MVPing the lobby, with Lelpop not too far behind. Messiah actually taking the second place score in this lobby, but just not having the supporting score from Androma to really mount much of a challenge on that particular pick.
Yeah, honestly, this is like a really impressive showing from Canada, considering that they are more of an LN-oriented team. They're still able to pull in their punches for the Rice. And I think it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to say that they, if they don't opt for LN2, then they're probably going to stick with Rice in this next pick.
Yeah, something like Rice 4 becomes an option if they really wanted to turn the screw, similar to how the Hybrid 2 into LN1 pick went, where it's like, okay, identify, there's probably a little bit of a weakness, but no, they're going to stick to their guns, path of least resistance, go into something that they're very comfortable on. LN2 go into a bit of density this time around, could potentially bring Norway back into the fold just a little bit. It's definitely not as arduous to play through as something like LN1, but it's still very hard in its own right.
Absolutely, I think this was gonna be interesting because it's basically like the same like BPM as I think the chord stream. Am I getting that right? Yeah, it is the same BPM as the chord stream. So, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, nothing really much else to say. We're going into L density. Yeah, I mean, like Canada again, they're a much more LN-oriented team. And, well, okay, we're getting a swap out for I think the first time in the match. We're switching Lollipop for Genuine here. So, yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit more comfortable on these dense LN streams, going with the fact that you do have some of these longer anchors while you're playing through some of these more single note streamed sections. Maybe just a little bit more comfortable ensuring that they don't their fingers aren't flying off those longer holds through this, but as it stands, you imagine they'll be able to lend their support to Mr. Moo, similar to how Lollipop did on LN1, where it's like we saw the drops from Mr. Moo, but because of the fact that Lollipop was able to hold on to that full combo, able to just make sure that they were able to get through it together. And again, the question being posed to Norway, can you mount a challenge? Can you keep this opening section clean enough to ensure that you're in a position to capitalize on what will probably be some Canadian drops later on down the line? And as it stands going into this, strong starts across the board. Genuine actually being the one to find the first drop. Starting off, column 1, column 7, slider breaks, as Androma eventually trades one of them back, but in these opening exchanges, Norway actually pulling out ahead to tune of about 2,000 points. Best position they've been in so far this match, as Genuine struggling a little bit to find a foothold in the opening portions of this map.
Yeah, and this is a lot closer than honestly I was expecting. Like, having that, like, earlier it was 5,000 points, now it's less than 3,000 point gap in favor of Norway, and it does look like it is shrinking. It's going. it's going. But yeah.
As it stands, still half the map left to go here. Both Androma and Genuine back up with that. What you call it? A full combo reset on the side of Norway, missing on almost the exact same note. Gonna swing the lead back on over to the Canadians. Not out of the woods just yet. We only just started the back half of the chart, and as we have seen, there have been some struggles here from the Canadians. Not the cleanest performance from them as a team overall. On Mr. Moo picking up the slack, making sure Genuine is in the backpack going into the last third here. Highest accuracy by a mile for the moment. Nearly a full percent ahead of Messiah, their next closest competitor, as they try to nurse this 9,000 point through this last quarter of the chart.
Yeah, and we're seeing some misses coming back out for both Androma and Genuine here, but as we approach the finish line for this map, so to speak, we're getting...
there it is!
That's a lot of misses from pretty much everyone.
Yeah, Mr. Moo goes down, Genuine goes down, Messiah goes down, but Genuine and Mr. Moo being the collapse here. That was your highest accuracy going down, and only Messiah went down in those exchanges. Androma carrying it through to the finish line, and Norway actually going to get one of these breakpoints back at the end of the day. 10,000 points the margin of victory, and there are signs of life from the red team here, as that was a hell of a team performance from them. Just a balanced score overall, seeing them through, and this is the level of performance that they need to pull out here if they want to get some of these points back. And this is a start. You get that break point, got to get a second one here, but now you're back on your pick. Can you carry this through?
Yeah, and honestly, like, this next pick is going to be very crucial, because then once they get this next pick and win, then they carry on a pretty steady momentum to make it a tie, and then perhaps make it so that they get to match point before Canada does. Who knows?
Who knows?
But
We have seen wilder things here so far this weekend.
But yeah, it does seem like Canada still has the upper hand for now, despite the breakpoint. So I think it is fairly even. I think out of the 4 points, I think there has only been one non-breakpoint, I guess. Just doing the calculation in my head.
Yeah, I think
yeah, it does
3
look like
breakpoints,
Norway's gonna
1.
go in. Yeah. Like, yeah, going into Hybrid 1, they're Protect after all, so they must be feeling pretty good on this one. So, hopefully we can see that momentum carry on. It'll be very interesting to see a little comeback story for Norway.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely gives them a little bit of a boost of confidence. Maybe seeing that they could hold their own on the LN style picks. We see Lelpop check back in for the Canadians as we go into Norway's Protect. Hybrid 1 on the board. Still have Hybrid 3 in reserve, so they do still have options if they really don't want to go up into that rice pool. And Canada looking to try and right the ship a little bit. It is just one breakpoint, but could quickly spiral out of control, especially if Norway can secure their Protect here. But as it stands, players are ready. We're going to get into this 5th map of this best of 9. Norway looking to try and continue this streak, see if they can build on that breakpoint from LN2 to maybe perhaps get themselves back into this match.
Yeah, and as we start off, can't help but wonder like how these teams will be faring on this. Again, Norway did Protect this, so that they should be feeling pretty confident on it. Opening with a miss here, very unfortunate, but it's very early, so they'll get back up to that 400 combo cap very, very soon and get that extra point, like little bonus point. There you go, 400. Everyone's back in the game. And yeah, we're getting around a 2,000 point differential. Nothing too bad. Oh, it does look like it is increasing quite a bit. Mr. Moo finding a drop.
Yeah, some exchanges here in the early goings. Canada still holding on to the lead for the moment off the back of the fact that Mr. Moo holding the highest accuracy in the lobby, even despite that miss. Now back up with that 400 combo cap, able to lend full contribution to Lelpop's performance. It's just harkening back to how they were in LN1, where Lelpop was kind of shouldering the burden on that style of pick, ensuring that they were holding to full combo, but Lelpop does find the drop, and Droma trades it back this time around though, so lead stays intact, but Mr. Moo falls once again. There's nobody above that 400 combo cap for Canada as Norway begins their charge here. Messiah quietly in the corner, holding on to the full combo and finding the slider break as soon as the spotlight was turned on them. Mr. Moo trades it back this time around, gonna help keep the lead in their favor. Still 6,000 points. Very fragile overall as Lelpop finds yet another drop going into the last third of the chart. The lead is shrinking in favor of the Norwegians as it stands, as we see another trade on the bottom half of the lobby. Still 4,000 points in favor of the Canadians, but they're riding their luck to the very end. But Mr. Moo finds another drop on the staircase, rolls, and the lead swings back on over to Norway with a quarter of the map left to go here. Can the Norwegians hang on? They both have the luxury of being above that 400 combo cap as Lelpop finally goes back up to join on Mr. Moo as well. Oh, this is too close to call. A quarter of the map still left to go here. Still 2,000 points. The fact that Mr. Moo is still ahead of both Androma and Messiah in terms of the accuracy could start to bring this lead back into their favor, especially if Lelpop can start to climb back up here. Every 10th that they find is another couple thousand being swung back into their favor. And it's the last couple of sections here through this last 8th of the chart. Last couple of bursts read through. Gotta make sure this ending's clean. Can't afford to find any drops on these LNs. Can Norway hang on? They do! 1,600 points margin of victory.
Point there. Does look like Norway's gonna take that. And yeah, that whole time, it was within that like 5,000, 6,000 point margin. And it was just, it ended up swinging over to Norway at the second half. And yeah, that's just how it goes. Worth worth the protect after all. So yeah, very impressive showing from Norway. Does look like they gotta try to keep that momentum going though. And Canada, it does seem like they're out of bottom half picks aside from Hybrid 3, which I don't think they would go for here. I feel like Rice 4 would be a safer choice.
Potentially, yeah, it's definitely. It's earned the moniker of mini tiebreaker. Has Hybrid 3, so might be worth maybe wanting Norway to pick it and maybe trying to break it, but it is going to be Rice 3.
There you go, Rice 3. Korjak. Yes.
Okay. This is arguably the most important pick for Canada because of the fact that Korjak historically in this tournament is a very black and white skills. I mean, I think the same thing could be said about Forky as well, but it's basically the margin for error on this pick is so much smaller than some of the other picks in this pool because of the fact that a singular miss could just bleed over a couple thousand, if not 10,000 points, given the quality of the miss. And even if you are playing as perfectly as you can, every 200 then becomes extra important, as the fact that there's not really much to break up the 1-2 structure of this chart. The density does ebb and flow here and there, so that might cause a little bit of discomfort, but the BPM is still pretty comfortable to read through if you are proficient enough at these jacks. So we'll have to wait and see if Canada can kind of correct course here. Now giving over 2 points back to Norway, would not want to give over another break point here to make it a glorified best of 3 at the end of the day. But Norway now starting to feel themselves a little bit, maybe growing in confidence, seeing that they can stand toe-to-toe with the Canadians here. And if they can get this break point back, then it is a whole new ball game here going into these final picks.
Absolutely, and yeah, just a matter of accuracy on this sort of pick. Though we, I would throw in a guess and say that we're gonna find a few misses here, like just here and there, but nothing too troublesome to start off with for this map. Does look like all the players maintaining that really high 99 for this intro, and as we start to build up towards the more difficult sections, it does look like, yeah, all these players are finding finding this part very comfortable. So yeah, just a matter of we're just waiting and seeing either who's gonna drop first, or if they all manage to maintain this level of accuracy. In which case, I think Norway is somewhat in a disadvantage here because of their accuracy. So Norway, on Norway's side, they're gonna want to hope for Canada to find that break somewhere, but it does look like they're maintaining it relatively. Okay, and Norway finds their first miss. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Canada is still maintaining high accuracy, full combos on both players. And yeah, it's just a matter of Norway wanting to get back up to that combo cap and trying to maintain it from there. But yeah.
Sure,
and as I say that, that miss, very unfortunate and a trade from Canada from Lopop there. Okay, something's happening.
Now we're starting to see the exchanges here going into the last third, as Androma and Lopop finding a little bit of a struggle there towards the end of that first major dense Korjak section. Bit of a break here, reprieve for the players to kind of rebuild on that accuracy in the exchanges. Now we have Mr. and Messiah going at it against each other. Mr. winning the exchange right now, 0.4% ahead of Messiah as it stands with a quarter of the map left to go, and Androma finding yet another drop. That's really going to start doing some significant damage here as the lead grows to about 30,000 points. They were starting to find the slip-ups, and now as things begin to approach the outro here, just not able to maintain the consistency, find their footing once again like they did at the beginning. And as it stands, Canada looking very poised to make this a match point situation. 4-2 on the cards here, unless there's a calamitous moment here. But as it stands, you take these exchanges between Androma and Lopop any day of the week as they close it out, 60,000 points to margin of victory on the Korjak pick, and Canada makes it match point. 4-2 now, with Norway up to pick next.
Yeah, and it's gonna be very interesting to see what Norway opts for. I want to say hybrid 3, but I feel like that's also very, very risky again because of it's marginally more technical and more physical than the other two hybrids. But we'll just have to wait and see. I I do feel like the rice is not. Yeah, okay. So hybrid 3, that's their pick. Take it or leave it. It does look like we're gonna go for Copy Fox here. So yeah.
Yeah, pretty popular pick overall this week, and I think the team's not too perturbed by the half step up from the rest of the pool in terms of overall difficulty. Like I said, we've been referred to as mini tiebreaker, just a precursor of what is to come. If they do end up going to tiebreaker, Norway gonna need to secure this and break Canada's next point to get to that tiebreaker. So not celebrated by any stretch of the imagination, but Canada on the precipice of punching their ticket into the losers quarterfinals. Our referee just reminding Canada it is match point for them, wanting to make sure that they put full focus on this. They have the opportunity to close this match out right here, right now, if they can take this point away from Norway. But like I said, with the way Norway has been playing, Rice 3 notwithstanding in these last couple of picks, I mean, this could really go either way as it stands.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this match just has there's a lot of variety here, and also there's a very tricky ending as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see. That's something definitely to pay attention to here.
For sure. So no substitutions once again. We had that cameo appearance from Genuine halfway through the match, but so far has been the duo of Mr. Mu and Lelpop really doing the bulk of the work here for the Canadians as Androma and Messiah try to keep themselves above water. And we get Hybrid 3 underway, longest regular map in this pool. And as we get this underway, no early drops to speak of. Can the players make it to that 400 combo cap afterwards? Then we're going to start to talk about the amount of damage that misses from then on will do. But through this early going, everybody able to make it through the intro as we get into the first real LN technical section. These staircase runs, these start stops, staggered releases. Mr. Movie being the first one to find the drop, not traded back by any of the Norwegians, but still holding on to the highest accuracy. The only player above that 99% mark, gonna help wrench this lead back over in favor of the Canadians as everybody else tries to find their footing in terms of accuracy, because the combo is still intact for 3 of these players.
Yeah, and again, like, pretty impressive showing from the beginning, and it looks like Androma finding a few misses there in that tricky LN sort of section, and it does look like we're going to get into the more technical section here, as we see Androma trying to get back to the 400 combo cap, but they find another miss again, and this is really rough patterning here, so don't blame them in the slightest, but this is just... It is very, very tricky here, and they absolutely want to maintain their composure if they want to catch up back to Canada. And it does look like Canada finds a drop there. Lelpop finding that combo break. And, yeah, it does look like Mr. Mu maintaining that 99, but just holding on just barely. Lelpop finding another miss. It's getting real here, folks.
Yeah, half the map still left to go. Norway not out of this by any stretch of imagination, but a break from Androma, transitioning out of the hardest section of the first half. A bit of a build-up here as we make our way into the back half. Things really do start to fly off the handle here as we approach the last quarter, but Canada nursing this 13,000 point lead, starting to grow it ever so slightly as the accuracy begins to tick back up. Every 1/10% is another 1,000 points as Androma finds another break. As we continue this build-up into the last third, Messiah doing their best to try and hang on as best as they can. Highest combo in the lobby, but right now being overshadowed by Mr. Mu and their overpowering accuracy, half a percent ahead of Messiah as it stands, as Canada grows this lead to about 20,000 points. And window of opportunity quickly closing for the Norwegians. But as I say that, Lelpop finding a couple of 100s, able to hold on to the combo for the moment as Messiah finally falls for the side of Norway.
Falls. And Norway finding another miss there. And it looks like Mr. Mu is maintaining that 3,000 combo. Can they get it even higher? It does look like Androma finding another miss. Messiah was back. Oh, everyone finds a miss.
But in the exchanges, Canada able to grow that advantage because of the fact that they keep able to keep it cleaner. And as we approach this last eighth, it might be too little too late for the Norwegians to make any sort of meaningful comeback here as the last couple of structures begin to rain down. 38,000 points, another break from Androma, and that might be the final nail in the coffin. Traded back by Mr. Move, but the damage has already been done. Canada on the verge of punching their ticket into the loser quarterfinal, just gotta make it through the outro and successfully do so. Canada wins the match by a score of 5-2, knocking Norway out of this year's 7-key Mania World Cup.
Yeah, and quite unfortunate because Norway was playing pretty well in this lobby, I would say, but it does look like Canada just being the those scores are just very impressive for especially considering this is a lower bracket run, so it does look like Canada will be moving on to the quarterfinals, and yeah, this has been a really interesting match, honestly. Like, there's a lot of ups and downs going on here.
Yeah, for sure. Congratulations to Canada. Commiserations to Norway. Hopefully they enjoyed their time in this year's edition of the 7-key World Cup. But that will do it. We have successfully made it through the round of 16 matches. The bracket has been finalized.
Yay.
And all that's left is to show the players what they will be going through in the quarterfinals. The last order of business is going to be that quarterfinals map pool showcase. As we take a look at the bracket, we see, I believe this is the winner's side. We'll see
this is the winner's side, yeah.
Yeah, we see
the top
some incredible matchups here.
Wow.
Korea, Malaysia, matchup of last year's World Cup. Japan, Indonesia, China, USA, historic matchup as well. Philippines versus Hong Kong. And as we make our way to the lower half of the bracket, we begin the conditional gauntlet, as so many exciting matchups as well. All these teams playing for their tournament lives and now needing to play that extra match as well to ensure they can make it to the semifinals and beyond. But with that being said, I mean, outside of that, I mean, Mint, is there anything we can do to show our support to the teams that are remaining? And heck, even the ones that have been eliminated this weekend, we've said goodbye to so many good teams this weekend. Is there anything we can do to really show our support here?
I don't know. Let me think about that for a second. Let me hop on over to the Osu store, buy myself a banner, try to, you know what? Let me support all the teams. I want all the teams. I'm buying a banner for every single team.
Yes, and you can do that for the low price of $2.50 USD. And like you mentioned, you don't have to try and pick your favorite or pick the winner of this year's World Cup. You can just buy all 32 if you wanted to. Show them off on your profile. Show your support. We've expanded the format to 32 teams for this year's 7-key World Cup. A lot of fresh faces. Unfortunately, I had to say goodbye to some of them, but you can still show them how much you care about them by showing off that banner today. And if you choose the winner of this year's Osmania 7-key World Cup, that banner will stay on your profile just that extra bit longer. So why not try to show off your ability to see into the future? Just see who is going to win and show your support today.
Absolutely, it's a swell looking banner too. So you're gonna want that profile banner to stay on your profile for that bit longer. Anyways, yeah, it does look like we will be getting into the quarterfinals map pool showcase. And again, map pool showcase, I know a lot of people's favorite time of the weekend, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that. With that being said, I'll be signing off, and Sparky I think will be as well. So yeah, I will be. We'll just see you on the flip side. We'll see you next weekend.
Absolutely. Take care, y'all. We'll see y'all later.
Bye.